Oh, this is
Got a new toy.
oh.
This toy's probably better than my toy.
I probably should have excluded him from the toys thing.
Nice.
$400.
I'm running away, right?
It's 50
Oh,
megahertz.
Scope?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is amazing what all that thing does.
I guessed.
It does automatic measuring of voltage peak to peak and bandwidth, or not, frequency and duty cycle. It tells you on screen what the duty cycle is of a wave. If you put it on a serial line, it can tell you what the data is.
That I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You got
I have an older scope. God, I've looked at it for years and now I can't remember what the name of it is. It starts with an N. It's a decent scope.
$20.
Oh, free.
Free?
I'll give it to somebody.
I'm here. I'm here.
It's an analog scope. It ain't this one.
Okay.
This is
Analog
replacing
scope.
it.
I got nothing.
But yeah, I've had the thing for years. It's been a good scope. I've got the books for it. And I have spent so much time sitting there with the calculator going, okay, about 4.5 times how many microseconds? Oh God. This just, it's on screen.
you hit a button and there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's got a
USB port.
LAN port on it.
And Linux drivers. From another networked machine, I can say what's on the screen.
Yeah.
And it sends me a bitmap of, I wish it weren't a bitmap, but you know, stuff happens. I can convert that in line. Yeah,
At least you can take screen caps of it or whatever.
I can get a CSV file of the values that are being shown.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's impressive.
The last scope I had was in 1973,
Mm-hmm.
and I could almost pick it up by myself.
Yeah.
Almost.
And it had a single trace.
It's like
Yep.
it's like this big and the screen is like
Yeah.
I got
So
I've
about
got an old paperweight that I picked it up. Well, one of my friends gave it to me for free, and it's a dual trace, but that thing must weigh 70 pounds.
Ooh, yeah, mine's not that heavy. The one that I've got it with me. It's out in the truck. I've got the covers for it. These probes go with it. This power cord goes with it. This goes with the other one. If you want it, I can do it.
We probably need to get it, somebody else might use it more than me. I'm not terribly active these days.
It can be a loaner if you want to just hold it and give it to whoever's using it that week. That's fine.
Okay.
It has been a very good scope. And one of the reasons this may come in useful is it's a storage scope. It's an old storage scope, and it isn't a storage scope at the moment. When you tell it to go into storage, it kills the sweep. So I think it's something in the ADC that reads the sweep that controls how it reads the voltages into memory. I think that's shorted, and when you tell it start doing storage, it kills the coils that control the sweep. I was going to use this to try to fix it in one. But about the time my second son was born, I was working for a company in Newtown, and I convinced them to buy me a scope. And for $400, I got a Tenma 20 megahertz analog scope, and it was a good workhorse of a scope. I kept that thing for years. And that was part of the deal. When I left, I got to keep it. And let's see, we were making ultraviolet lights for the printing industry, big. I mean, 600 watts per inch on a 5-foot long light bulb. Huge. And ultraviolet, so do not look at the pretty light.
Yeah.
And they were blowing out ballasts. When a ballast would go out, it would take out the computer. and they were sending the computers out. Basically, it was just a fancy display and keyboard, and it was costing them $350 to repair them. I'm like, probably fix those. I had opened them up. It was a Z80 processor and normal chips, and not much to it. I mean, they ran at 2 megahertz, I think. They were underclocked. The Z80 runs at 4. I'm like, I can probably fix those. I need a scope. And so they got me that scope, and I fixed 4 of them in a week. I'm like,
Wow.
okay, your scope's now paid for.
Yeah.
Now, you really should get a better scope so you can go work on that equipment over there. And I got them to buy an early battery-operated Tektronix LCD. It was the size of a book. It was $4,200, and it was pretty much a bottom of the line of the Tektronix portables. But I was in the service group, and we could take it to other places and just use it. And so that's when they got that, I got the first scope. But that isn't the one I've got out here. It's not the Tenma, it's another one. I gave the Tenma to a friend's son that wanted to learn how to use a scope. And where all this ties back, when my second son was born is when I bought that Tenma. At that time, this scope would have cost probably about $15,000. I mean, I looked into scopes, and I slathered over the nice ones. And one that would do on-screen measurements was expensive, about $15K. In my son's life, a chunk of electronics has gone from $15,000 to $350, and he was able to upgrade the software in it to turn it into a $450 scope. It's supposed to be 50 megahertz. It's now 100.
Wow.
That took him about an hour.
When I
Software.
first started working in '75, I bought a B&K precision sine level reader and a tunable bandpass filter. And that was around $15,000 to be able to do spectrum analysis. And now I can download
Hey, Missy.
an app on the
That
tablet
means
or
bring
phone
your toys.
Do the same thing. So it is incredible in terms of things.
We gotta have somebody that needs some assistance called in, and they wanted somebody to come on site, and I thought of you, because you could do something like that. It's in a foreign country, Venezuela. Is that okay with you?
I don't think you want to visit it right
You don't really want to go back to Venezuela right now, do
Maybe
you?
I need to, but in a couple of months.
You're gonna go back?
If something gets
Sounds
Safe.
dangerous down there now.
Huh?
It sounds dangerous.
yeah now, yeah, more than ever. Table. This is a microwave oven.
Almost. It'll do everything but fix the
AMF
kitchen
now.
sink, right?
It's been upgraded from 50 megahertz to 100 megahertz.
Okay.
And
It was easy.
Hmm?
Was easy. You was following a procedure on YouTube or something.
Was
How
the
you-
Yeah.
upgrade easy?
Yeah. I don't know, my kid did it, but I can find out. But it was pretty much download a piece of software, run it, and give it the serial number, and it generates a number that you enter into it.
I bought the Siglin, the other one with 4 channels,
Mhm.
100 megahertz, maybe $100 more. But it has the serial analyzer,
Just does
I2C and all those
Mhm.
stuff. This
Yeah.
is
Yep.
after the upgrade or
It had it before.
before? Okay.
Yeah. And the reason, so my son bought it because he had always wanted a scope, and then within 3 months he decided he wanted to upgrade. So he got the one that's got the 8-channel logic analyzer as well, and he's updated the software on it also
Awesome.
now. So it's the 8-channel logic analyzer and the the AC waveform generator.
Yeah, has a generator, single channel.
Yeah, no, I think it's 2 channels
Two channels.
actually. But yeah, I mean
It's amazing the value that you have now for on scope for
Yeah,
several.
that's what I was just talking about. When my second son, who originally bought this, was born, I was looking at scopes, and the scope with these capabilities would have been 15
I
grand.
still have one electronics, black and white,
Mm-hmm.
100 megahertz single dual channel,
Mm-hmm.
$2,000.
Oh, really? The battery
10
one?
years ago, yeah, the battery
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, about 10 years ago. This was he's 22 now.
Yeah,
But yeah, this thing it's cool.
no, it's amazing.
Need to give you that laser and see if you can figure out where the serial port is on it.
Oh, okay.
Jim had a laser pointer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure that there's 8 pins,
It's one of them.
8 tab things.
Yeah.
I'm sure that 2 of them, there's probably voltage and ground, and then there's 2 of them that are RX and TX. But
Yeah.
I have no idea which ones are which.
Yeah. This can tell you what the data is on it
Yes.
while it's running. It's
Well, see, that would be even better, because then you could go, look, it's actually sending it at 9600 baud, and we can actually talk to it now.
yeah.
The circuit board that I brought in a year ago, that would have been perfect to analyze that.
The only thing to me that's odd about it is when you turn it on, the fan kicks on, and it's surprisingly loud.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can think is they are trying really hard to keep the amplifiers in it cool. Because there's no reason for it to be that robust.
Yeah.
They sell a rack mount kit for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's got little O-rings that go around the feet and hold it down. It's $300. That's what this thing costs.
The accessories cost more than the thing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to make friends. No money being made here at all.
They ask for money for any update you want.
It's
It used to be
once
there.
it's updated, it stays there.
And any accessory or something. They ask for a lot of money when you want to upgrade something in a chip scope.
Yeah. But the thing that made me go, I knew he wanted to buy the next one, or the one up that had the analyzer on it. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you what you paid for that one, since you've upgraded it. And so, but
I saw an article about what's better to have a scope with digital and analog analyzer, or to have a separate device, you know. And the guy in this article said that it's better to have a logic analyzer separate from the scope
okay.
with a bunch of channels and in the USB channel of your
Yeah.
computer,
Well, I've
with a
been
lot of
looking-
memory to register whatever, a lot of functions and features that
Mhm.
doesn't have the scope.
Well, at the point where I got convinced to just give him money for this, I was looking at a Bitscope. And those are only $160 or so, but those have got a logic analyzer as well. But they're entirely software. I mean,
Yeah.
which is no big deal. I mean, a Raspberry Pi with a 7-inch screen is a great interface for them. Actually, in some ways, it's better because it's a touch screen. This is not a touch screen. The one he bought is.
It's close to 800, the other one. The one with the
Oh, almost 1,000. It was like 965.
Mm.
He's so my oldest kid works in a gas station, and loves it. He's happy as a clam there. My youngest kid is a professional video game player, meaning it's all he does. He doesn't have a job or anything yet.
Has he made money yet?
Not a cent.
Okay.
In fact, he got cheated out of, and this one amazed me. Somebody tricked him out of a hat that he had paid for some game. $600 for a hat that doesn't exist. I'm like, wait. First, where'd you get the money? Second, who did you send it to? And third, how did they trick you out of your imaginary hat? but I digress. The middle son works at the same company I do. He got hired there without me knowing that they were going to hire him, and he sits right here beside me. And I dearly love my kids, but while it is good to teach a child how to do a thing and send them off into the world, once they've decided they know how to do a thing, they are hard to work with. But
Just give them the tools.
yeah, he's got enough money to buy the toys that I wish I had been buying, and yeah, so I get these things. I didn't have to pay shit.
You get the hand-me-downs, huh?
I do. Yeah.
I worked really hard to make certain my daughter was strong and independent.
Mhm.
I shouldn't have worked so hard.
The youngest kid, he had this wild idea that he was going to play video games. That was going to be his thing, until he had a kid and realized that he didn't make a cent. He was spending more money
Yeah.
playing the stupid things.
Yeah, I've tried to reason with the youngest.
I don't
love you, kid.
understand that
You're
particular
welcome.
generation.
You're welcome to use my bandwidth, but and I will give this: he is ranked like 500th in the world, or actually, he's in
What?
the top 500.
Hi.
But to me, it's a game.
He's done better than Edwin did, because Edwin, he was just spending money. Have you actually won a tournament yet? Oh no. What did it cost you to enter that tournament? Well, it was like $300.
So who did win? I bet it was Sony.
Yeah. And what was the grand prize? Oh, it was something like $3,000. And how many people were playing? I don't know. I think there was 50 of us or something.
Oh, actually, that's pretty small.
I'm like,
Yeah, Duncan, the youngest, he is good. I can't remember what the name of the game is he plays, but he's good at it. But how do you convert being good at something into cash?
Monetizing.
Yeah,
Start business, having those,
teaching
The
other
games.
people how to play.
Oh, the
or
games.
something. Yeah.
running the games and
So-
then keep your cut.
I mean, some people can actually make a decent living doing that, but
He actually wants to go to Korea because that's where the top players are. He has been offered to play. I mean, he's been offered a scholarship, whatever you want to call it, to play, but he's got to go to Korea.
yeah.
Well, I'll get you there, but I want some guarantee you're coming back. You don't want to go to Korea right now. It's cold.
I really don't understand that generation now.
I played games. Oh, I was good at Galaga.
Yeah.
I loved Galaga.
Oh, I like that one.
I dropped a fortune in the arcade machine. Fortune to me, probably not that much, but
Tough times. You know, there are a lot of careers that are disappearing or
Yeah.
changing a lot, and you don't know what the future will
yeah.
ask for. You know, truck driver is a bad idea.
Really? Why do you think?
Huh?
There are more truck drivers this year than there were 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I think there will be a a change in maybe in 7-8 years.
Hmm. Could be. I enjoyed it.
All the RAM to RAM movement will be automatic using for self-driving trucks. Will be cheaper. They don't need to sleep, or you can have the same company working 24/7 days
Yeah.
without people.
It's gonna be a while.
It's
before
a
it
matter of
happens,
business.
though.
You will earn more money.
Yeah.
You put the systems.
You think it'll be within 7 years? I don't.
I think that will change the tendency.
Yeah. I know they're
Okay.
trying it in Nevada.
2025 or something.
There are some trucks in Nevada that are driving
Yeah.
across the state that
Yeah.
are driverless. I'm not sure what I think about
I
that.
think
They've had robotic trucks in Nevada for a while,
Yeah.
working in the mines.
I
but-
think it's a matter of business, you know. It's-
Oh, I should put a chip in it, huh? I wanna record.
You will pay less
Battery operated
sending
records.
stuff in those trucks will be cheaper.
Yeah.
And
1080p, 1 hour,
Wow.
motion detect.
Kodak had a camera that looked just like that years ago. They sold it at Kmart, I think. It was blue instead of black, but it had the same stripes on it.
$6.58.
Wow.
Amazing.
That looks like one of the cop cams that they
Mhm.
advertise on the
Yeah.
thing for $20.
And the racing stripe is just adhesive tape.
Yeah, it's just a piece of paper
Yeah.
taped on there. Yeah.
I think camera will be everywhere, you know.
Oh yeah. Big Brother's watching. The interesting thing is, it's not Big Brother that's watching; it's everybody.
It's everybody.
And I don't know. So this thing that just happened in D.C. with the Indian and the kids
We're watching.
Covington calf. Kids are stupid. They do stupid things.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened. I haven't paid any real attention to it, but
Kids are
it's
stupid.
kids. And
Yes.
and kids no longer get the ability to do a stupid thing and people forget about it. Now it's forever. When you go to get a job, the HR department looks at
Like
your
a Vita 2
Yeah.
face.
the HR department checks your Instagram account and your Facebook and everything. What? So I have a Facebook account. I turn it on. I connect to it about once every 6 months. Still the same.
The only reason I have a Facebook is because the kids post pictures of the grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason why I have a Facebook. Otherwise, Facebook could go away.
Yeah.
And I
There's
have
a
tried to
screen
convince
there.
them that there's a better way to do
It's
that.
got what?
Screen inside?
Yeah.
Cool. Does it turn off when you close it?
This is in test mode.
Ah,
That is actually pretty cool.
yeah. What's that little thing around?
It's $50.
It's not bad.
I think this is 12 meg, supposedly.
12 megapixel?
Yeah.
So 4096 by 3000-ish.
It does snapshots and video
Huh.
and audio.
This is like a portable security camera, or
This is
how they sell.
trail camera.
The gear camera.
Deer.
Okay.
So you
Put it in
if
the
the
woods.
deer start talking, you can pick it up.
And
I can go with your
It's
plotting.
much better.
It
It's-
has-
I
it
didn't
has-
realize it had audio.
it has
It's
an.
much better.
Is it for hunting or just to take
It
pictures?
could be for hunting. It's just
Can
with
tell,
nature.
can send you some signal or something. If it detect movement.
Not
No.
they do sell them, but not this one.
You,
And
you
they're not
put-
that expensive now.
You put it alongside of a trail and leave it for 2 weeks, and you come back and you see when, because deer are very consistent.
Regular
Yeah,
behavior.
They follow a trail. They go north every evening at 7 o'clock, and they come back
Okay,
at
okay.
9:30. And so it lets you figure, well, if I get there 30 minutes early,
It's unfair for
They
them.
have
for them.
GMS ones now. Seriously.
Nice.
Yes.
I've seen something that it was a camera. It was a trail camera that was meant to be eaten, and it had a GPS in it, and I guess they would eat it, and
Looks like a corn cob or something.
well, I don't know. I guess the idea was to track them
Mhm.
with the GPS and figure out where they were going. But if they
Know what age
if they
Yeah.
excreted it,
Damn, it was a skunk.
if they excreted it, then you would end up with
At least you know where they're scattered.
a video of it. Or
The
I don't-
video, when I turned it over to video, and then I realized it had audio too, it really makes a difference. You can hear the deer walk, and they
Mhm.
huff at it,
Yeah.
and it's much better. I was shocked. And
Is it infrared also?
yeah,
So, is it down in the range where some animals can see the glow from the?
you can get some that they absolutely can't. I think they can see part of this one, and the deer, it doesn't scare them anymore. But you can tell sometimes that they sense they
Mhm.
detected it.
Yeah, they look
They-
right at it.
But there's some that are totally black. This one is, I think they can see a little bit.
They
It's
know
like
something's
looking
there.
at an IR source light. You can, if you look at, you can see there's something
Mhm.
red there.
Set up some cameras for a company, and the IR in those things was so bad. In daylight, you could see that they had this pink glow. I always assumed it was to make them more visible, to try to deter people from doing stupid things.
But that's not what it was it? It was just bad IR.
It's just bad IR, yeah.
Now I've gone away from. I had a nice IR source that was
Mhm.
like 10, 12 watts, and that's a lot of IR.
Yeah.
And I've gone to visible now. I want them to see that I am watching you
Yeah.
and blind you if necessary.
This thing detects movement
Yes.
and then turns on the
Yep.
recording.
Yeah. These are about 0.6 seconds, 0.5 seconds to trigger, and they sell them down to
And you have the
different-
timestamp in the
And-
image too.
Yeah, they have the timestamp and the temperature. And yeah,
April 14th.
$50, cheapest ones. This is a standard model. This is everybody's selling it under their brand name. This one actually has it stamped on the front. This is a Victor. But I've got one identical to it that's another brand. But
It's
they're
a Chinese no-name brand that
Usually
somebody
you put
brands.
this
Yeah.
in a tree, right?
Yeah.
Using a tree.
what you have is they sell these little stakes that stick in the ground and they screw right here, and those are wonderful.
How long it can be used as a
6
security,
months a
security
year.
camera around the house in a tree or something?
Yeah,
Looking-
6
looking-
months
looking
battery
from
life.
the tree to your house,
Mhm.
different that useful
Yeah.
to see.
Even at low temperatures, you're getting that.
Yeah. Yeah, right now I'm having some issues with this one. I just found out, talking to Leroy, I got bad SD chip. I was trying to use in this one.
Kids
I'd later
program
got in trouble,
Alexa
so it may be temperature
to
related actually.
signal when
But
a new
I've had
package
it
is in
in
the front
cold
door.
temperatures with
It's
snow,
amazing.
in the snow.
Yeah.
Change
One
yellow
thing
light.
that has happened with these is
Oh,
I've
something
gotten water
like-
out.
It's there.
They're supposed to be IP65, whatever
Mhm.
that is, but they'll fog up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think 64 is washdown capable, and that's not very waterproof, honestly. This means that as long as you don't squirt water into the bottom of it, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And IP67 is submersible. I think that's 2 meters for 20 minutes or something. You could put the whole thing inside of a plastic bag, a Ziploc. Works wonders on my phone.
Mhm.
When I was riding a motorcycle, anytime I was going to go out, if there was any chance it was going to rain, I'd just stick my bag in
That may
place.
mess up the motion
The
detector.
IR? I don't think so.
These are, it has a separate sensor. It's not
Mhm.
just, it's this guy.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
It's the PIR probably, PIR. Okay.
Which IP is that one? IP
65, I think.
protect against dust that may harm equipment and protect against water spray from all directions. So it doesn't really mean it's waterproof.
Yeah.
Means
Waterproof is its own thing. This is water resistant or something. Although they say waterproof, we know it's not waterproof. Waterproof is a
Five
different
is
thing.
protect against water spray, just
From
spray.
all directions.
And 6 is protect against dust. So 68, I think, or 69 would be
Dust
the
pipe
best.
and protect against water projected from a nozzle. Okay. 66. Protected against immersion. 67 looks good.
67 dust tight and protects against immersion.
Heavy seas or jets of water. 66.
Low pressure. 66 is low pressure.
Okay. Well, rain should be low pressure.
So you want something better than 65.
Well, 65 should do rain, right?
Well, I guess it depends on how hard the rain is.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not like it's from a nozzle. Projected from a nozzle. Okay, to project from a nozzle implies that
Yeah.
you're getting
64 should be okay for rain, or anything 4.
Okay.
It looks like probably the best would be 79, right? Total dust tight and protects
Yeah.
against prolonged effects of immersion under pressure.
Yeah.
I need one good for 200 meters.
Submarine.
You gotta go retrieve it.
Yeah.
I guess 65 is not bad. It's just the lowest of the good, I guess.
Yeah.
That's like standard outdoor electrical stuff.
So yeah, the SD chip that I was using in this thing, I couldn't keep any pictures on it. It didn't take any pictures, and so I was testing it today, and then I noticed in Windows I could drop files on it. The files would appear, and I could go view the files, and then I would unplug it, and then plug it back in, and the files would be gone.
They never got written there. The file system.
We were
said
saying,
that they'd
Leroy
been
was
there.
saying the fat table probably wasn't updated. I didn't
Like-
eject it.
Hmm.
Like
Could be, yeah.
like when you don't eject it right, sometimes it just
Yeah.
doesn't write the fat table out.
I was thinking it was when you went to read it, it was just going, it's still in the cache, and reading it out of there. But yeah, if the fat table isn't updated, that would do the same
Windows
They
thing.
would do
usually
the same
flushes
thing.
that stuff on the SD cards and flash cards, and you don't have to worry about it. If you leave it there for 10 seconds and you're not doing anything, it'll close it.
Yeah.
But I've got a USB stick that did the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and even under Linux, if I just pulled it out, I would lose everything that was on it. If I popped it in there and told it to unmount it the right way,
Yeah.
it was fine. And my only guess is that it had to flush it out and write the fat
Mhm.
table, but
Yeah, but
it was doing the exact same thing in Linux that it was doing in Windows. So
Yeah.
it was a bad stick, or it's a bad stick.
hmm.
But the only way I could get it to work at all was to unmount it the right way.
Yeah. No, you
This is
really should do that.
another fair
You really should.
mini.
You really should unmount it the right way anyway.
Yeah. They usually have this at the
There.
museum center.
This is at the museum center. Union
This is the
Terminal.
mini because the maker one is on September, right? In September. usually.
Dayton is September. Yeah, I think
and the Cincinnati ones. No, but
they're having it April. April
They
13th.
changed it.
Do what?
There is a Cincinnati Maker Fair, right?
That's this.
This is. Well, it used to be in an open place in open terrain.
The first year they did it, it was at a park in Over the Rhine, right there near Music Hall or Music.
Really small, I guess.
Washington Park? That's
Maybe.
what's right in front of it.
Yeah. If it's right in front of it,
Yeah.
All I know is once I got down there, I realized it was over the run, and I went, oh.
Last 2 days was in the exit 9 or something,
Yeah.
75.
Yeah. So the last several of them have been at the Cincinnati Museum Center, which is the Union Terminal, which is at
The hemisphere.
the old Union Terminal building.
Yeah, I'm kind
The
of
radio.
curious that they put that up there as Union Terminal instead of
Cincinnati.
Museum Center.
Cincinnati Museum Center, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also the Union Terminal looks like the old Justice League Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
Are you planning to be there with your robots?
I don't know. See, that's what I actually wanted to.
If you need help, we can.
Well, they're asking for makers right now, and I want to see if anybody wanted to sign up and do something. I mean, we could take some robots, we could take some IoT stuff, we could.
maybe a booth from the club. Or
Yeah, well, we make. We wouldn't have to get fancy or anything. We could make a sign and pass out our cards and whatever, and say, "Come to the club." And
some robots and elevator and whatever
yeah,
stuff.
something that. Well, I was thinking we could maybe make it a little bit more interactive and have them connect to the robots to their phones or something and drive them around. That wouldn't be hard to do.
Sounds destructive.
I saw exhibitors getting nervous when the kids come and start touching everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
They-
Well, I
almost
wouldn't
destroy-
let them do it to the good robots.
You only need one kid in 100 that is different, and we'll destroy your robot.
Well, I wouldn't let them. I would do it with, like, maybe the Rami chassis or something that we
Something
didn't
you
pay a
already-
whole lot of money for in the first
Okay.
place. But I don't know.
Or let them control them, but keep the robots behind a screen.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
something like
that's
Yeah. Maybe down in a pit or something.
in 2015, he made a little barrier that would sit on a table. He was actually controlling the robot, not letting other people do it. But
Mhm.
it's all you would really need is some sort of barrier just to keep it from rolling off the table.
that. We have time. When is the last date for
I
signing?
don't know. It's in April, so we've got time. But if we're going to do something, we probably need to start planning for it earlier than later, and not try to throw something together and like the
Well,
last minute.
let's think about it and we discuss it in the next weeks.
Yeah. See, I even planned for that, right? So the forum thingy-mabob. This is a good place to go and discuss it because it's right there. Now there's a reason for people to come and discuss things.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay, this one I don't know nothing about.
it's true because it's in the meeting announcement now because
Okay.
I did actually add it to the meeting announcement. But
I will.
last week, 2 weeks ago, I ran across this site, and it's basically lets you set your own forums up for whatever,
Mhm.
and it's free-ish. You can pay for additional things, but we were playing around with it a little bit. There's only a few of us playing with it. But, it's got. See, I'm not logged in or anything, and I can still read the forums,
Mhm.
which in our some of our discussions we wanted like a public and a private. So you actually have to become a member to actually post, but anybody can go and read the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
I like that. I always get irritated when I find sites that there's enough on Google to get you interested, but then you get to the site and you can't
Yeah.
read anything.
Well, so if you wanted to reply to this, you'd have to sign up, but you could at least read what everybody's thinking, or whatever.
I will assist any way I can. I don't have any toys at this point that I think other kids would be interested in.
Well,
I am thinking, do you remember the elevator with the Raspberry
Yeah.
Pi?
yeah.
We can put another ultrasonic sensor out for the kids to move the hand close to the sensor, and the elevator follow their hand. No, they don't need to touch the elevator. Just
I pulled
sensor.
the Hero Junior out of storage again. Yeah, I'm missing two of its sides, but pretty much everything that I did in 2015 has fallen apart. So I've got to go back and redo it. But I was thinking about trying to get that working again and taking down there. Maybe not to show it off, just to show off what could be done. Not let people play with, because that's my own personal pet project. But
Let's think about it.
But anyway, go if you want to throw whatever, because I thought that would be a good way to get something started on this site.
Have a short leash on this thing.
I also added, I don't know if Jim probably hasn't even seen that. I added the old corners from the old site. So those are all the
Cool.
that's kind of why I like this, because you can customize it ish.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things I cannot change, but I can make quite a number of changes to this site. If I sent a didn't like that, I didn't have a picture up there. It's just flat.
So I don't see any ads. Are you blocking? Or if
So
you-
on my mobile, I see an ad.
Mhm.
I am actually blocking.
Okay. Yeah, I fully support blocking ads.
The ad that I see on the mobile
Mhm.
is an ad for Yonko.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's semi-intrusive on a mobile device, but since I'm not, let's see, let's see, pause, let's see what actually happens. Yeah, that's what I see on the mobile,
Mm-hmm.
so.
That's not bad.
It's on the mobile though. It's semi-intrusive because it takes up half the real estate. Because the screen's too small. Yako they're a German company, and you will find, if you actually get in there and start playing around a little bit, that some of the words that should be in English are actually in German,
Okay.
but it's easy enough to figure out what.
Those are the ones that are this long.
It's usually when you're posting the icons, I guess the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
they haven't converted
Yeah.
to English, and so we see the icon, we pretty much know what it is anyway. The word behind it's in German, so. But,
Actually, from my perspective, that isn't particularly obtrusive.
on mine, it fills up a little bit more of the real estate. It's not bad. Did it have an ad down at the bottom too? No.
Recent images.
So those are a couple of pictures I posted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the ads aren't. It's not horrible, and that's basically how I found out. I saw it, and it said set up your own site, and I'm like, okay, I'll click on this and see what it does.
So you have a link in the meeting announcement
Yes.
to this.
Yes.
I saw that. That's good.
Yeah. Right. I also put a link to the other alternative. Not Walmart. We don't care about Walmart.
Maybe.
So this is the other alternative, which
What happened with the Slack? What the problem with Slack? Public access.
public access. Twist is kind of the same way. I don't know. See, there's so many of them. It's just pick one and go.
One of my things is if they don't advertise, they're going to start charging. If they do advertise, it's going to start annoying me. Is it a thing that I can run on my own hardware?
Yeah. Well, I looked at a couple of those too.
Yeah. I'll donate bandwidth.
The
I'll donate hardware.
the problem that I see of running your own is you still have to advertise it somehow, and the problem I see with Yonko is it still needs to be advertised somehow. MeWe has kind of become the default place to go for the G+ refugees who G+ are leaving behind.
G+ refugees.
That's us. We're the G+ refugees. Yeah, MeWe has more of a G+ ish feel to it, but that's more or less a closed. You can't read that publicly unless you join that group.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily what we want.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I clicked on Orville when I meant to click on automation technology.
Went back.
And it went back. Well, that was nice.
It just
of it.
really wants to be on the Orville. I've started watching that actually.
It's all right. I like the Orville, so
It's I would never have guessed.
no, not at all. But yeah. So those are really the two alternatives to G+ that I see right now. I like both, but I like both for different reasons. So I know Vicente, you post a little bit more here than you do on Yonko, but
I think we should consider it an interim thing and probably try one out.
figure out what we really want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really a collaboration tool that we're probably going to go to something else after that when they kick us off of the product of the day or decide to charge us or decide to do advertisements or whatever. So
Yeah,
the only crabbing I have about the new one is it wanted user information, my birthday and that sort of stuff, which I plug crap into.
yeah, but see, it didn't really validate any of that stuff. It doesn't care what you stick in
Well, that's what I'd recommend on these free tools. We plug in crap for names, for information.
I was born on January the 1st, like everybody else.
like everybody else. I'm sick. Actually, when I set mine up, I didn't put anything in because I'm the admin, so it just automatically filled stuff out, and everybody was 62 years old.
There you go.
I'm like, okay, I'll be 62 years old. I don't care. I fixed mine.
Yeah, so
Same-
just
same
avoid that.
class.
If they want to link to your email database, which one of them did.
Oh, nice.
Huh?
Nice.
Yeah, nice. That irritated me. I was done with that. So
It was your contacts. It was this one you didn't like because it wanted your contact.
yeah. But if we learn how to get around it, that's fine.
I like I said, I like both for different reasons, and it doesn't really, I don't really particularly care which one we end up using. It's just, everybody's got the links now, so everybody can start using both of them and figure out which one they like. And then we can go from there.
Why don't we try to go with the new one?
I like Yonko. I like
Yonko,
Yonko because
that's-
it's got the public
And
face to it.
and do we want to distribute the updates to all members, or if you select that, it will do that? The updates to the basically chat room,
Oh,
the bulletin
that's
board.
actually you're in control of if you get the updates or not.
Okay, I'm in control of whether I get the updates from other people. Okay.
With the Yonko thing, you can subscribe to individual topics or the entire forum or whatever, and then you'll get a daily digest or a single email. And
That sounds good.
I think that's
With our, I would like to say our default bulletin board for the group, I'd like to say that one, send email a summary every day or send updates.
I don't know if I have. I don't know if I'll look, but I don't know if I've got that kind of power to control for
Okay.
everybody, because I think it
But just
one or all.
publish a link to the, right under where you talk about the link to it. But okay, if you want to receive emails of the update to the bulletin board section, this is what you do. That would be great. And we'll fish them in.
I think that Yonko thing. I think we're going to have to probably make a help page anyway,
Yeah,
because
oh, that'd be good. This
I
is,
can
this
make-
is what we're recommending, and this is how we suggest you set it up.
See, just like this here, we can make a page there for help, or we could just make, like I did here for the corners, I could just make a help page just like that actually fits in with the thing. See, everybody who signs up for this has the ability to make their own mini site, which would replace the old corners, but I brought links to the old corners.
It's a transition tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the original corners were intended to be transition tools. The main thing is to get people using it if we can. If we can use it as a bulletin board like we're kind of getting a few people to use it, a couple of people, and I was kind of watch it, see what people were saying.
Let me go inside now, because then you'll see what I'm saying.
Let's try to go in that direction and see if we can trap a couple of people in, and then we can expand from there based on
So if I go
who we
Automation Technology Club, which is the general overall thingy, see where it says I've subscribed, so if somebody else posts, I will get an email that says that.
Okay.
But if I cancel that subscription, it'll say subscribe there. And then you could subscribe to individual posts. So if I want to be updated regularly about this particular topic, I can actually subscribe to that topic.
Okay, the topic would be general topics.
No, the topic would be Cincinnati Mini Maker Fair.
Okay, but I don't care about that. What I want is if in general correspondence in this group, and you come
Then
in,
that's
you want to
the-
see what's going on.
Then that's the
Hello.
No, that's not it. That's Mini Maker Fair. That's a
No.
particular subject. That
No.
might be in. Okay.
Automation Technology Club. That's
A general forum. Okay. Exactly. Okay.
that's
and it
where
has
you would
various-
subscribe to that.
Cool. That's what I need to do. And we need the instructions to do that. New members.
And
this is
then
where, go here. Sign up for this. Don't put your real date, your real birthday in there. Don't put your
well, you can if you want.
no. I recommend. We recommend that you don't. Okay. We don't like that. And tell them how to set up the automatically mailed stuff to the.
So
recommend.
far I haven't gotten any email from that yet, but I'm doing most of the posting too, so
Okay.
I don't think
And
it
just
I don't think it emails me my own stuff.
I would
It's a
point
plus.
point to this, point to forums, go to forums, and this is where we do generalized postings, and I think you would be in business to start to get back to where we were, crawl back from Google Plus. Not that it's a long crawl, mind you, but crawl
Can
back to
you
where we were.
pin things to the top of a list, that sort of stuff?
As an individual person, I can't. If I log in as the admin, I think I can pin
Okay.
stuff to the top. Yeah.
Okay, and something like that meeting, that
Yeah.
Just
event.
there's a page that I don't have active that I could set for like forum rules as well,
Mm-hmm.
which every forum in the world is pretty much the same rules. Don't
Yeah.
cuss people out and be nice.
That's what I was saying.
But I didn't activate that page. I think there's one other page I didn't activate, but we don't need it. I actually deactivated the member page because Jim, when Jim was on there and talking about it, I just deactivated the member page.
Okay.
But if you play around with it, you can actually still get to the member page.
The only issue I had with, I think, the member page was you had to, in order to get to somebody's stuff, you had to request, you had to friend them or something like that. Was that the issue? Different issue? Okay. I don't remember.
The friend thing. See, this is a forum, and I think it originally was a forum, but they've tried to add some social networking kind of stuff to it,
Mhm.
so that you can friend people, you can post some stuff to like a wall
Mhm.
kind of thing, which all seems kind of semi-pointless to a forum.
Yeah.
But later on, I could see how that'd be useful later on if we had a quantity of people here, and you want your own personal conversation areas. It'd be neat.
Even the chat is a little. They're working on apparently this chat, which wasn't there last week, is one-to-one chats. So if I wanted to chat with Vicente, I could just
Yeah.
chat with him. This chat up here happens to be more like an IRC chat, which is global and everybody,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the chat room, you get to see what I type.
Yeah.
So there's actually two different chat things going on in this thing too. So
I have a great fondness for IRC.
yeah, I like IRC, but and you can see I'm the only one in the chat room because guess what? I'm the only one online. But so there's actually two different kinds of chat that you could do. There's like an instant message kind of chat. There's a
Group and private.
group chat. The big question is why did they separate the two? Why did they make it a little bit more streamlined? I don't know. I don't have any control of that. But that's that. I think it's a good tool. I think it's got some quirks.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's go toward the.
But I think it's a good tool.
Yeah. I think we got Leroy. Vicente's got some junk.
Vicente's got some junk.
Toys. You bring your toy in, Vicente?
You want to hear about that?
Yeah.
Okay, there is I was working with the ESP8266 several months ago to try to use the deep sleep mode, you know, to make a sensor to put outside for my dog to turn on and signal in the kitchen, in the a light that
Mhm.
he wants to come in. Okay, he's outside, and the idea was to use batteries and that they last for a year or more using ESP8266. The ESP8266 only has one deep sleep mode that needs to use the reset signal to wake up again,
Mhm.
and it lose anything you have in RAM or anything you have working on, you will lose all the information. By the other side, the ESP32 has several ways of get out from deep sleep mode that use reset, use touch sensors, or use interrupts in any pins. Okay, and it also has a backup RAM that maintains the status of the last state. You know, you can go to sleep and save any value, and then when there is an interruption or a touch or anything that wake up the microcontroller, you can go and check in the RAM what happened the last time,
Mhm.
and you can increment a counter or whatever. The ESP32 I think is better to save energy in deep sleep modes. I was experimenting several months ago also with the touch sensing to wake up the ESP32, and work more or less, but the dog doesn't like to touch anything with nose, you know.
Mhm.
Then I was looking for a proximity sensor, and there is a company that made them the chips that is a tiny sub 23. It's a 6 pins like a transistor, very tiny chip, cost under 50 cents, and it's programmable in sensitivity and all kind of stuff. And it has two levels of detection, proximity and touch, you know. And it has two outputs, open collector to signal something is approaching, and to signal also that I was touched. This is used in light switches with a battery. It consumes nothing, 7 microamps
Okay.
all running.
That'll last a while.
Huh?
That'll last a while.
You can have this with this battery maybe 10 years with this current, you know. And I made this experiment. You need a surface for the touch, for the sensor. The area of the surface determines how far you can sense the proximity of something.
Depth of field, okay.
But you have a lot of parameters you can adjust in the chip. I left the chip as it comes standard because the programmer cost $50. It's OTP. You blow some fuses and the chip is forever programmed. The good thing about it is has some adaptive behavior. You can when you turn it on, it stabilizes the signal and then detect the proximity of your hand. Okay. You can have different stuff over it, for example, and it stabilizes the signal, adjusts the amplifier, and also detect the proximity of your hand. This is useful if you want to put it behind plastic or wood or a window, or when it turns on, adjust the sensitivity to detect the change. Okay, this is very good for to put it in a box or whatever.
Yeah.
The application notes suggest using a ground ring around with more than 3 millimeters of distance to avoid sensitivity in the size. Okay, but you will sense almost the same thing to go behind that from symmetrical behavior. You can use it without the ground, but it will be very sensitive to almost everything. And if you want to put several of them, all of them will turn on at the same time. Doesn't matter where you move your hand. It's interesting. This is a small board that is for demonstration of the chip. You can buy 3 of them for $2.50 from Mauser, and they already have the LEDs to sense to show the detection. It has 2 levels, first and the second one. This is to detect like the gesture of approaching. Has two different.
What's the maximum distance?
Excuse me?
What's the maximum distance?
Well, I don't remember, but they have there's a relationship between the area of the sensor,
Mm-hmm.
and depending on the amount of
Objects in the
obstacles
path?
you put in front.
Yeah.
But I read something about 30 centimeters distance.
Okay.
It's useful for light switches. Okay, this works pretty well with the dog. It only needs to get close and works. The idea is to have a feedback, maybe a buzzer or something that tells him that he activated the
Okay, yeah.
the
He
alarm,
knows
like
it worked.
a couple of tones or something.
Yeah.
And using the ESP32 in the no SP32-no protocol that uses less energy than the Wi-Fi protocol, and use less energy and is very short in the connection. Then you turn on, send some message to the screen in the kitchen or whatever you want to have the sign of the dog, maybe a light or something, and then turn off again, waiting for the next approach.
Does it turn off after it gets a reply that its message was received, or does it just send and hope for the best?
Yes, it will be in broadcast mode,
Okay.
You send just the message, and you hope. But you can do some handshake, but you will use more energy. It's a matter of try and depending on how
Yeah, but
how
going from
important or how critical is the signal you are trying to check, because the dog can come several times trying to be attended.
Yeah.
You can use this in your mailbox also, outside. Anyone that go close to the door will fire the sensor.
Trigger a camera.
These people, the company is called Azotec with Zeta, OTEQ, Azotec.
Okay.
What
And they also have chips with a lot of inputs to create a matrix of sensors, and they have a very high resolution behavior. They sense 4 fingers at a time, 2 of them, any gesture.
Cool.
It's pretty good. It's technology. was interesting.
Neat.
I still have problems. Sometimes it stay on all the time. I don't know, maybe the wiring or.
When you moved it on the table, maybe there's like metal or something underneath. So
I
just
change
to
change
rewire.
the maybe. Stay.
How, how is it sensing your hand? Is it capacitive?
Capacitive, yes.
Okay.
In the chip also has an analog output, and you can see the behavior of the signal. It change analog in an analog fashion. And you need to program the chip to reach, for example, if you want to turn on the ESP, for example here, and you want to detect the touch as a second signal to really activate anything. But you need to adjust the sensitivity of the touch because it's almost is very close to the proximity level. See, you can adjust to change the sensitivity of touch to really go closer to the area of the sensor.
Very cool.
It's interesting.
For the
in the
mail
future,
back,
I will
yeah.
try to use it with the ESP and
It's
see
on.
how it works.
It's on right now.
Huh? No.
Now it's not.
That's fine. That's okay.
Supposedly, it has an adaptive algorithm that changes the sensitivity. As they show it in YouTube, it's a dynamic adjustment, but this thing I tried this experiment now. Turn on and put this. Supposedly, after a while, it must turn off and readjust the sensitivity, but it doesn't happen. I don't know.
Establishing.
You need to turn on, to turn off, and reset it to create a new level of sensitivity.
Does it have a watchdog timer that needs to be enabled or something?
Excuse me?
Maybe a watchdog timer that needs to be enabled? That
It has
automatically resets
a
it?
lot of parameters, a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, more than 20 parameters to be adjusted.
Cool.
Cool.
And I also bought there is a chip to detect low power that is cost 50 cents. It's useful to put in the ESP32, and if the voltage go under 2.90 something, it generates a pulse, right? I was thinking to check the battery of the system, the ESP32, just using a pin to power the detector, and read in the status. You go under 2.9 something volts, you can send with your message the battery status. You need to change the battery because it's under 2.9 volts or so. And all the idea was to has the lower power consumption in the device. Because
Yeah.
will stay all the day on.
You could do that with 2 pins and a Zener diode. Hook it up to the battery,
Also,
set
yeah.
the both pins as input.
Mhm.
If it sees the battery voltage directly on one and through the
You, you
Zener on the
have
second.
current or not,
Yeah.
depending on the voltage.
And that's cheaper than 50 cents if you get pins.
Yeah, yeah. Initially, I wanted to send the actual voltage.
Mhm.
I don't know if the ESP has an internal reference just to measure its power, you know,
Yeah.
and say, okay, the voltage is under or whatever.
I thought the analog pin on that was only good for like 1.5 volts or something.
Yes, there is some kind of limitation.
Yeah. You
You
know about
this is the ESP 8266,
the
right?
8266 had a
But the 32
32.
has several channels.
yeah.
But I don't know if it has a reference inside.
I don't know either. The you know about the 8266 being able to hold I think it's one variable in memory through a deep sleep.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's
One?
one special variable that it can hold.
Maybe
deep
I
sleep.
don't know.
It seems like I did some project a long time ago, and I needed the state to be exactly the same when it came back on.
But I read that the one of the differences is the existence of this RAM
Yeah.
between the both, and there is an example how to use it. It's a counter. You go to this sleep and turn on and send a new number by the serial port to the computer. Go to sleep, turn on and send the number incremented. It means that you are saving the number and using when you wake up, look at the number, increase it, and send it by serial port. That's it.
Anybody have anything else on the show?
If I could comment, it's not exactly this, but about 40 years ago, a friend of mine and I got in an elevator with some capacitance keyboards, and he realized that if you were going up and you eliminated all of them, they would all go out, and then he could pick the floor, and we would go directly to the floor. Well, the next day, going down, he eliminates all of them, and they don't go out.
Whoa. Making friends.
So everybody that got on the elevator, they step on and they turn, and all of them are illuminated. And they look around in the elevator, and they can tell the person who did it. Sheepish.
An interesting thing about this tape, copper tape, the glue inside it is conductive. You can just put one over another, it's conductive, and you can solder it, and the glue stay. That means that you can do a lot of things with it, you know.
Oh, okay.
You can solder stuff on it. And
make your own
stay.
traces? Or?
Huh?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is that the same tape that you use for stained glass work?
People use it for that, but it's not the same one. But in the comments of Amazon, someone used it for glass work.
Because I got about 100 feet of it.
But for glass work, you don't need conductive
Right.
tape. You know, maybe the same one, but they specify that this is good for create ground pads for electronics or create touch sensors or.
I got a LiPo,
Charger.
a good one. This one, it's got nickel metal hydrate charging too, but it's supposed to recondition the batteries. But the two LiPos that I've got that are way too gone. One of them, it didn't even recognize it was plugged in, and the other one, it tried and tried and tried, and then it just finally said, "Nope, can't do it." But
Throw
it's
away.
There was
Yeah.
a trick years ago. You take it was 100 microfarad tap, charge it up to about 100 volts.
and zap it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth a try.
Most of the things that I see that talk about how to do it say to put your battery charger in NiCad
Play with
mode
it. Turn on.
and hit it for
Okay.
10 minutes.
Mhm.
And that's actually what this does. When you plug in one that is bad,
Yeah.
it'll go into NiCad mode and it or nickel metal hydrate mode and try to charge it for 10 minutes, and then it says nope, can't do it. But that was $15, and it's got little voltage meters on it, and it actually tells you the voltage. It tells you the amperage, the milliamps.
You can
of
charge
the battery.
a Tesla with 2,000 of those.
Yep.
Do I? Hit it with
A
You have to
Tesla.
2,000 volts?
disassemble it first.
Yeah. Sure, why not? I was a little skeptical, and I'm still sort of skeptical because it didn't really work to recondition the two that I had, but it charged the other ones, and it told me all kinds of stuff about my good ones that
Neat.
I was like, well, that's cool.
When
That's
they-
cool.
When they die, it's because they form little whiskers inside.
Yeah.
And it just shorts them out.
Yeah.
And that's what the big zap is supposed to do, vaporize that.
The one that it tried, I actually sort of did that. I reversed polarity, and I heard a pop.
Oops.
Well, it actually took a charge for a little while, and then, but no, I think I destroyed it. So.
Yeah.
But that's all right. I mean, the other one, the other battery charger wouldn't even charge it. So I mean, it's just gone. It's just dead. But I got that, and then I made some progress on the robot from last week. I moved stuff over to a different platform. Pan and tilt. You hold the thing out, and it'll pan and it'll move around, but there's a lot of jitter in the pan, and I'm not real sure why there's a whole lot of jitter in the pan servo. But there's no program on here, and I forgot to bring my little thing, and I forgot a bunch of stuff for it. So everybody can look at it and go, oh, he moved it to a different thing.
That's a nice cover for the Pixie can.
Yep.
So what causes the gripper action?
The gripper has a DC motor in it, and down here there's a little tiny motor driver.
Mm-hmm.